Good morning. Special shout out to all the cheap bots that I got to view my stream. The real question is, did my Discord get pinged that I'm live, or is it going to wait 2 more hours? It's going to wait 2 more hours. Oh, wait, no. It went live earlier. Nice. We're going to, me and my Sploot Troop friends are going to play Forward Swords Adventures tonight for the first time, the Game Boy Advance version. See how that works out. Is that that's the cup I'm using today, isn't it? I've never seen this movie. I think my wife wants to see the sequel, but going to a movie theater isn't very doable for the next couple of years. I guess the next time my parents come up to visit and we could like leave PJ with them for a bit and go watch a movie, but we watched Oppenheimer, I think 2 days before PJ was born in theaters. That's the last time we've been there. Go. Streaming services. Like Crunchyroll? It's like the only streaming service I pay attention to. Am I doing a weekly recap? No. It would make sense to do it on a Friday if I didn't do a Monday one. Do one next Monday, though. What was that? Epic Pikachu? That would have been, Laura and I were in our first apartment for that movie. The last Deathly Hollow movie. But J.K. Rowling has ruined Harry Potter for me. Like, I don't even think about it. She sucks. Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Popcast. Whenever you're listening to this, whether it be live or a VOD, Twitch or YouTube, or Spotify. While you are looking up last-minute flights to Riptide, which is in a few weeks, thinking about how you are now mid-level because you have been banned from low ink, deciding at the last possible moment to register a pickup for low ink, whatever it is that you're doing right now. Appreciate you taking the time out of your day to listen to this. Unless I don't. I did not do an episode on Monday, but if I did, I would have talked about the fact that Ludi has concluded. Congratulations to all of you for getting your Ludi sets done in an orderly manner. I still have my suspicions that if the Splatoon Tourney channel, aka Ludi Tonight, did not exist, that this Ludi season would still be going on and DivX would still be working their way through the group stage, because that was what Ludi was like before the Splatoon Tourney channel came along. But a lot of those finals, the VODs of those were done last week or last weekend. I know because I commentated one of them. Actually, we'll reference it a little bit later here. Spoiler warning. But congratulations to everybody getting through that. If you are expecting me to go back and talk about, oh, did I correctly guess who was going to win each div when I made those predictions 2 months ago? I haven't. I don't even remember who I picked, but I'm pretty sure that I didn't get a single one right. And so be it. It's not about me. It's about you guys. Did you prove the seating council wrong? And if you did, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And for those of you who feel like you got overseated, I want to offer my most sincere apology. I'm sorry that I believed in you. I won't make that mistake in the future. Trust me. News for Riptide. This is breaking-ish news that was announced yesterday, I believe. Not only is Riptide now the biggest Splatoon LAN tournament ever to exist on God's green earth, it is now beaten Low Tide City by 100 players. There is 100 more people playing at Riptide than there was at Low Tide City, which was the biggest Splatoon event ever just 3 months ago. Where are we going to fit all of those players? The Low Tide City, there was 12 stations, not including the stream, 11, 12 stations, something like that. Well, how do you do 12 stations and then throw in 100 more players? That makes no sense. There's no way that's going to work. And I get there's going to be Riptide has their own room for Splatoon, whereas at Low Tide City, it was just a third of the room was dedicated to Splatoon, and then a third to Ultimate, and a third to Melee. So there's a much bigger space for Splatoon. And I wasn't there last year. So the last time I was at Riptide was 22, when there was only like 6 or so stations, and like one of them was just like a broken one just for friendly. So I am excited to see how this is all going to work. It's an exciting time. And also, as you look at it, you look at the teams that are actually signed up for this thing, you're like, whoa, this is going to be actually pretty cool. It's 100 teams that are signed up. I don't think there's going to be actually 100 teams. I think most of those teams are incomplete, and they're just individuals signing up, and then eventually they'll get like absorbed into another team. So I don't know what the actual number is. I don't think it'll be actually 100. But you look at the teams that are actually legit going to be playing. It's not just like a just a giant Squid Junction basically as far as teams are playing. No, like these are like monster teams that are coming out here. You have an FT Win pickup, which I believe is Ice, Bagel, Biscuit, and Keo. You have Moonlight that is signed up. At least 3 of their 4 players are currently signed up. I don't know if it's. I'm assuming since they're using the name Moonlight, not Max Light or Last Light, that they're going to be their actual roster. I also saw a Crushed Soda pickup starting to form. Cream Soda. I saw Goss there. I know Thunder is going. Zenith, I believe, is going as well because I know that was like one of the prizes you won with Super Jump. And I don't know what team that player is going to be on. There's a couple of other +1 level pickups as well. I know Storm Hero, Chara, Max are playing in the team. If Lynn's not a +1 player, they should be, in my opinion. I know they're doing a pickup with somebody else. I think Storm, not Storm Hero, the T-Tech Storm. So there's a lot of, and that's just the ones I saw. There's a bunch of other like really dumb pickup names, but then you stop and look at the players. You're like, oh, this is a strong team. So top cut of Riptide is going to be loaded. It is going to be stacked. And with that many people there to spectate grand finals, hopefully it's rocking and roaring as far as the crowd is concerned. It was pretty raucous during the Starburst versus Moonlight set at Low Tide City. We need to find ways. We need to come up with some ways to get the crowd going. That remember at Low Tide City, that person, I think it was somebody from Six Pack Yokes, went to the arcade and just won a bunch of those little clappers with the tickets and stuff and just handed those out to everybody. So hopefully something similar to that doesn't require tickets from arcade can be done to get the crowd hype and ready to go, because that's going to be a fun time. Riptide is going to be awesome. Obviously, we are going to we're going to preview it here on Labor Day Monday. There's also a special guest that I haven't reached out to yet, but somebody I want to bring on to talk about Splatoon lands in general. So we will be covering Riptide beforehand and afterwards. And obviously my wife, my son, and myself will be there. Not really sure how that's going to work out. And I also got to bring Brush isn't going to be there, or Hohen, so I'm going to be the one stuck doing the Low Ink band certificates in person. I have this week we've been handing out a lot online, and I've been getting a lot of DMs from people saying, "Hey, are you going to be handing those out at Riptide? I really want one." It's like, yeah, I'll be there. I need to find a way to get a colored printer. I don't have a colored printer, and I don't have like a way to make use of one. Do Kinkos still exist? Are those still a thing, or are those obsolete at this point? I don't think I've seen one of those in a while, but we'll make it work. We will make it work somehow. News of tournaments may be of interest to the casual listener of the Popcast. Low Ink registration is still open for the next 5 hours, or 4 hours and 52 minutes if you're watching this live. If you're watching the VOD on YouTube, you probably are a little too late. Sorry, not sorry. But you can still sign up. Make sure you get your splash tags entered. One person or one team has officially signed up since this podcast has started. If you're in chat and you have just signed up, congratulations. I don't care. Squid Junction is going to be taking place tomorrow night. I always love it when there are events going on the same time as Low Ink, because whenever we ban someone, we can be like, hey, this tournament's going on, and we know you're not doing anything else on this day. Why don't you go hang out with that? So sign up for Squid Junction. That's going to be on Saturday night. Also, week 1 of 20XX is going to be next weekend, Labor Day weekend. Hey, commentators, make predictions for that thing. Good times all around. Exciting stuff going on here in the competitive Splatoon world. Office Depot, you can do that. You can like go to Office Depot and be like, hey, can you print off so many of these in like color copy or something like that? I guess we could do that. That makes sense. Today we're going to be previewing Low Ink with my freshly typed out top 10 teams have the best opportunity to win this tournament. I have got it correct this time. I've been wrong for about 50 of the 53 times I've done this. This time I got it right. Believe me. Trust me. Most of you probably haven't heard a Loink preview episode before, except for Epic Pikachu and Falco, who are here every single week. But this is going to be the time for real. I get it right. So stick around for that. All that and more. But first. I've been talking about Loink for over 4 years now. You would think at this point I've run out of things to say about this tournament. Like there's literally nothing else I could say about Loink that I haven't said before in the past. And the answer is yes. I ran out of things to talk about Loink like 2 years ago. But what I like to do is keep recycling information. If you listen to a Popcast 100 episodes ago, it's probably the same exact thing I've been saying for a while. I just know I get a new audience every couple of months or so. You're excited about Loink. You'll tune in to hear what I have to say about you. You get banned from Loink, and then you never come back again until I talk about you in some other kind of form and fashion. I'm fine. I'm not complaining. I'm not griping. I'm not like pointing. Like that's just the nature of how things work. But eventually, there's going to be enough people who've heard what I say over and over again to be like, he's stale. He's run out of material. He's washed. It was better when he didn't have a beard. Yeah, okay, cool. But you know what? Let's not hear from me anymore. At least not today. Let's take a look at what other people are saying about Loink. That's right. I went to the search bar on Twitter, typed in Loink, and just scrolled through to see what people were saying about this tournament, because it's such a popular, well-known, talked about tournament that it's it's pretty hard to avoid seeing somebody talking about Loink on Twitter. So we did that. I found 9 different tweets that I want to at least highlight and talk about. Now, full disclaimer. This is not my attempt to shame anybody. I'm going to respond to the things people are saying on Twitter. But if you're tweeting out something, you are putting it out there for the entire world to see. It should be allowed to make reactions to. I mean, people comment on tweets all the time. Just consider this me commenting to other people's tweets in more than the character limit, and using my face to do it as well. And it is not lost on me that a good chunk of you over the course of the past month have said, I'm done with Twitter. This is a crap show. I'm not doing this anymore. I've gone over the blue sky. Well, don't worry. I, the brave and honorable and humble Popgun, am going to stay on Twitter, and I'm going to comb through the crap to give you guys the information that you know you are missing. I will take on that burden for you. You can stay on Blue Sky. I'll try to be more active on there. As I know, I've been getting a lot more followers, even though I haven't really done anything recently. So don't worry. I'll handle the Twitter for you. And this new little segment that we're calling Tweets from Twitter. Let's take a look at our first tweet. This one comes from Zofi. Sometimes I think about how climbing up the comp ladder past Loink is literally just begging for approval from literal miners, and it makes me happy to be in low level. 119 likes on that one right there. I get where this one is coming from. And I've seen this narrative a lot. People basically talking about the fact that, like, well, once you get banned from low level, you automatically become an a-hole, your ego gets inflated, and you become a genuinely unlikable person. That is not a new take. That is a narrative that's been around for a long time, ever since Loink first was conceived by Hoenn and Kraken 6 years ago now at this point. So I get where this is coming from. I will say this, though. It's not true. There are tons of people that are banned from Loink that are cool, that are wholesome, that have given back in a way that doesn't sound condescending, that have promoted the tournament and have told many people, like, hey, you should play in Loink. If you want to get started in this, I got banned from Loink. you should be playing it. It's a great way to go up through these kinds of things. Are there plenty of people who let that kind of thing get to their head? Yes, of course. Of course there are. But the generalization of anything is usually not factually true whenever you just say a blanket statement, this entire section is this or that. So I want to push back on the narrative that life outside of low level is scary and bad. It's not. It's fun. It's fine. Ish. It could be. I'm not quite sure. I retired. Brush Strokes tweeted this morning, I fell out of my twin XL bed this morning at 5 a.m. and you're telling me you don't want to play Low Ink this weekend. Everything is going wrong. Can I just point out the fact that Brush is a legal adult and a twin XL bed, I'm assuming this is from a dorm. While those things aren't crazy big, it's still not excusable to be rolling out of your bed. That is an issue that Brush shares with my 1-year-old son. He likes to roll around in his sleep as well. The difference is my son has a crib and Brush doesn't. So here's what I looked into today. I asked Hohen if we had enough money in our budget to buy Brush a crib, and the answer turns out is no. So we will start a donation fund at some point, a GoFundMe or something like that, to where we can buy Brush an adult-sized crib so that he can roll around in his sleep without falling out of this bed. That we need Brush to stick around. He's got a bright future. He's one of the head LAN TOs. He's a head Low Ink TO, and he's just an overall nice guy. I can't have him getting concussions in his sleep. So please, let's make sure we find a way to get a crib for Brush. Chai, replying to a different tweet, which we'll kind of talk about a little bit later, gives this take. The context of this, I believe, is talking about should you like playing in Low Ink at all. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. But still, the tweet reads as this: it is also just not exactly a great way to measure skill as far as playing in Low Ink is concerned. It's entertaining to watch and play in when first getting into low level, but teams require a shit ton of stamina to place and play well consistently to make the top cut. Now, if you've paid attention to anything I've ever said about Low Ink, this shouldn't be a surprise to you that I 100% agree with this take. This person is spitting facts, and I'm not being sarcastic. I'm not going to pull the rug out of you guys. This person is correct, and I've said many things similar to this fact in previous episodes of the Popcast. It is extremely difficult to win Low Ink. It's more difficult to win Low Ink than any other tournament around that skill level for the fact that it is a 2-day tournament. If this was like a little squid league or a minnow cup where it's all done in one day, that's a completely different thing versus you need 2 days, an entire weekend where you don't have a job, you don't have homework, you don't have a family event or something like that, and you got all your players that you want to play with available, and to endure the fact that it is, if you're in EU, you're playing really late on Sunday. If you're in Australia, you're getting up at 3 a.m. to play. If you're in North America, it kind of works out with you time-wise, but it's still a long time you got to play at your peak. You might not have to play at your peak a lot on Saturday during the Swiss stage, but on Sunday, there's literally no room for error. Now that it's double a limb with the number of teams that we got, it's a little bit more forgiving, but still, you're playing literally every single team that's just as strong, if not stronger than you, nonstop in Alpha Bracket on Sunday after you went through Saturday. It's extremely draining, and they're completely right. Now, when you look at it from the context of the Alpha Bracket teams, yes, they're going to hate the Low Ink format. The teams that are, my goal is to win this tournament, and anything short of winning it is a failure. This is a horrible format for them. For the 90% of the other teams that are trying to find their way to grow and to improve so that they can get stronger, so that they get excited. I'm excited that I qualified for Gamma Bracket. You'll see that a lot over the course of the weekend on Saturday. People being genuinely excited that they got Gamma Bracket. There's many people who tweeted out, and I always try to like as many of them as I can. people who tweet out, we went 2-4. We went 2-4. We're super excited about that. Like, that's the vast majority of people that play in low ink. And that's why the format benefits them, especially when we have as many people sign up for this tournament that we do. We kind of have to do these bigger formats. But on the flip side, if I were to do a counterpoint to this kind of narrative, there's not a lot of tournaments to where you have to play 2 days to win them, but the most important ones, the majors, the lands, you do kind of have to do that. Super Jump is a 2-day. You got to grind your way through that. The 20XX, when they were doing major tournaments, same thing. Those were 2-day things. Some of these other off main org, when MIT did that Storm Break tournament, that was a 2-day one. Any kind of major is usually a 2-day. Any LAN tournament, oh my gosh, you talk about stamina. You literally have to have stamina to make it through redemption of these lands. LAN tournaments will drain you like nothing else. And you think, well, you're just playing video games. No, like it is a physical and emotion. Well, maybe not a physical toll. It's not like you're done playing Splatoon and you're like, oh, I feel like I just did a workout. No, but like to play at your best, you have to be mentally sharp and focused. And it's hard to keep that going for an extended period of time. So low ink isn't the only one. If low ink was the only tournament that had a 2-day format, then I think that would be like a huge red flag. But the fact that there are the most important tournaments outside of low ink are the 2-day ones, I feel like that gives more justification for low ink to be the warm up for that. Like, hey, let's start getting you guys ready, build up some muscles now to do it. But I agree. If you're an alpha bracket team, it is kind of difficult to go through. And I say this a lot too, just because you don't win low ink doesn't mean you're not good. Sometimes the best teams don't win low ink. You need a lot of skill, obviously, but you also need a lot of luck to get out on top of low ink. X-Man. Oops, scrolled past them on my thing here. There they go. Low ink banning people. What tournament is this? And what do they do with low ink? What? Have we not been banning teams in the past? Or, I get it though. We have banned a lot of teams this month. We have, by my count, we've banned 10 teams. By the way, Brush, if you're listening to this, we got a lot of certificates that we're behind. We got to catch up on that. But yeah, we've been banning a lot of people from low ink this month. There's a reason for that. It's because we didn't do a low ink last month. So there's been 2 months worth of low ink or of tournament results that other people can go out and get. A full Ludi season that definitely played a factor in who we should ban and who we didn't. There's a lot more data, so it makes sense that we would ban as many people as we have this past month. And when you look at the number of teams that we banned, and I know this isn't like readily information anybody can just look up, but I went back and looked because I was just curious. We've banned on average 5 teams every month this year. So the 10 teams we banned this month are actually in line just to make up for the fact that we didn't ban anyone last month because there was no low ink. So in theory, we're meeting our quota. Not that we have a quota. There isn't a set number. If we didn't feel like anyone should be banned, we would ban nobody. And if there was a lot of players popping off, we would ban all of them. It doesn't matter. Although we do have to have at least one random ban that we do to keep the soul of Hoenn going strong. Hoenn demands ban sacrifices every single month. Now, if you're paying attention, we didn't really ban anybody last month. And there's a reason for that. Well, not that. We didn't ban anybody back in June. The reason for that being, well, Ludi just came out. In theory, I guess you could have argued, well, you banned everybody that got Div 4 that played in low ink the month prior, and that is true. But we specifically didn't ban anybody. Everybody that signed up, we pretty much allowed in except for like maybe 1 or 2 players or something like that. But other than that, it's been pretty consistently 5, which has been, if you combine last month into this month, makes it work out. So we are actually banning people over the course of the year. Don't play that card with me. Speaking of players getting banned, you see this tweet a lot, and this is a fun tweet. And I like how this tweet is presented because other people have presented this in a weird way in the past. Stell says, "Who do I cheer for this next Loink? Everyone I knew is now banned." Now, in the past, other people have done this same kind of tweet, but they worded it in a way as this like, everybody who's actually good is gone. Everybody that's still in Loink sucks because I don't know who any of them are. But that's not what Stell is saying. Stell is saying the people I know are now gone. And that is a weird feel. It is legit a weird feeling. As somebody who's been banned from Loink for 4 years, after like another couple of months, most of the teams I grew up playing against were either banned or won Loink. It is, you look back at the tournament now that you spent so much time in and you're like, I don't recognize anybody. It is a weird feeling. But what you always got to remember is that it's the next team up. When somebody leaves, the next team steps into their place and they start grinding their way up. It is a ladder, not an actual format ladder. We're never doing that again, I promise. It is a ladder you climb up, and the next team is ready to step up into those ranks. Are they going to be good enough to get banned? Who knows? Shouldn't you know, Pop Gun? You're the one banning them all. No, it's our staff. It's not just me. Speaking of bans, the big fat sea cows, not the big fat sea crows, the big fat sea cows have been banned. And I wanted to highlight this because I love it when teams go on Twitter and celebrate the fact that they got banned, especially in the way that the big fat sea cows did. Not in the way, you know, I don't really, yes, the DMs I send to people get screenshotted all the time. I understand that. There is no such thing as a private conversation on Discord. And whenever I DM somebody about Loink, I know for a fact that I'm talking to all of Twitter when I'm DMing that person. Like, this isn't just a one-on-one conversation. I know you're taking this out here. But I love the fact that this tweet kind of expands into a thread of them talking about all their members, all their accomplishments, how the fact that it started from the bottom, now they're here kind of thing. Now, other teams did this as well. So I don't want to just pretend like the big fat sea cows are the only team that does this. But I just like the fact that teams reflect on the fact of like, yeah, I didn't win it, but I remember where we were when we first played in this tournament, and I like the fact that we're able to grow with the rest of my friends and we reached this goal. Now we're moving on to the next thing. Plus, 218 says, I'm hype. I am hyped. Second place in a Div 5 cap tournament gives me hope we can push really high this Loink. 2 more days. Well, 1 more day now. I like tweets about this too. Now, I do want you guys to keep this in mind. And maybe I pointed this out a little bit earlier, but I'll re-emphasize it here. You shouldn't use your actual placement in Loink as a measuring stick of how much you've improved. You could go out in this Loink, and we talked about how it is a grind, how much of a stamina push that it is to get through this kind of thing. We've seen teams that have been like, Div 4, you are Div 4, and this is the last Loink you're ever going to play it. And they do horrible. Like, they don't even qualify for alpha bracket, or they went like 2 and 4 one time. And it's like, oh my gosh. But that doesn't mean that you're doing bad. Everybody else is improving as well. And this is just another opportunity for you to grow and improve. If you want to see if you're actually getting better, don't focus on your record in Loink. Focus on your VODs. Watch how you are playing. Is your decision-making getting better? Is your mentals getting better? Are you looking back at some of your past VODs and being like, oh, I would never do that nowadays? That's how you know you're getting a little bit better. Don't focus too much on the results, but it is awesome to be excited about the fact that, hey, I'm doing better in other tournaments. Let's crack our knuckles and see what we can do this weekend. What do you think of, I don't even know what that is. So I'm just going to move on. Oh, boy. Oh, we got a good one coming up here. Sergeant Cookie says, hot take. ? Loink should stop being the barrier from low to mid-level. Yes! Yes! Someone finally said it! Oh my gosh. Low ink for the longest time has been a barrier that prevents teams that are eligible from low ink from particip from what? Oh, it's a barrier that prevents people from playing in SOS. Oh wait, no, that's a open invite tournament. From playing in the 20XX qualifier. Wait, no, anybody could have done that. From getting into the plus server. Oh, wait, no, that's gate kept by voters, and also you could do good enough to just get placed in there based off of send out results. Anyway. For being eligible from Neon Whale. Oh, wait, no, there's a completely different staff that does Neon Whale, and it's quite often they let people in that are eligible for low ink anyways. Okay, look. Yes, this has 70 likes, but the vast majority of the comments and quote retweets are just people being like, there's no barrier. Like, that's not what that is. Now, I don't speak for this person, but if I were to try to interpret what they're trying to say here, is maybe it's how other people perceive what being low ink banned means. Like, maybe there's some teams that will look at you and be like, oh, well, you're still eligible for low ink, so I'm not going to do any pickups with you. I'm not going to allow you to recruit onto my team. There are two things there. One, that's cringe on that team that they're relying on me to tell them who they should and shouldn't be looking at to join their team. If they're using the low ink verification staff as a outsourcing recruitment tool, that might be a red flag. That's a team you don't want to be associated with anyways. But on the flip side, if you are who you say you are, a superstar, well, have no fear. There are 6 gazillion tournaments going on every single day that are open invite, that if you play in it, you can flex and show everybody. Maybe, oh, the low ink staff doesn't ban enough people. Okay. You can see it then. If you're so good, other people can see it. That should be good enough. That is your way. There are no barriers. It is not possible for barriers. If it does, it wasn't created by us. It was either created by players putting that barrier on themselves, or people getting banned from low ink and then thinking that barrier actually existed, but it didn't. But wait a minute. I'm sensing it's faint, but I do pick up the power of a barrier. I, being a low ink head TO, I can eliminate this barrier. Hold on. Let me get my IPL wand out here. Okay. Oh, channeling the spirits of persistence, connecting with the plus server voters, battling the alt accounts, and splabooey. I've done it. I've eliminated the barrier. The barrier is now gone. I've used my magic, my power. I've used it to eliminate the barrier. You guys are all safe now. You can thank me later. One more tweet to go through here. And this one comes from Bart King. I hate to complain, but my printer ink is so low, these fake passports aren't going to fool anybody. You know, this is the unfortunate side effect when you search low ink on Twitter. You get people who complain a lot about the fact that their printer is low on ink, or they need more ink cartridge, or I guess in this person's case, a failed attempt at committing a felony. So yeah, that's a little bit of the side effect right there of that. So there you go. That is the interesting tweets that I want to see. The takeaway from what I'm gleaning from Platoon Twitter about their thoughts about low ink. The sense I'm getting here is that if you are an alpha bracket team, you are frustrated with low ink because you finally just want to get it over with. You either want to win it or get banned. And you realize the format is horrible for you, and you realize the stigmas that come around with being low ink when you feel like you're not a low ink kind of player. And I get that. I 100% get that. What I think gets lost in all of this is a couple of things. One, you guys got to realize that low ink is an optional resource for new/lower level teams to have an environment that they're not going to find at the time Low Inc was created anywhere else, to grow and improve and to get themselves to a point to where they can be more competitive in some of these other tournaments. It's a resource. It's not a requirement. There's many people who started off playing in an SOS or a BNS and got banned from Low Inc before they even played it. In fact, we get people all the time who will be like, we'll ban them from Low Inc because on the results, and the captain will respond back, but they never even played in Low Inc. And we're like, that's how good they are. That's like, they've got enough results to where they can get past that kind of thing. The second thing we all got to remember here is, and I've said this many times, but I'll continue to iterate it here, because whenever we ban someone from Low Inc, they're always like, I'm mid-level now. Man, it's so crazy being mid-level right now. Being banned from Low Inc does not mean that you are Div 4, that you are mid-level, that you are no longer low-level. It does not mean that you are banned from other low-level tournaments. It doesn't mean that your Pokemon special defense stat increases and you get to use the HM Fly outside of battles. Being banned from Low Inc means, wait for it, you're banned from Low Inc. It means we as Low Inc staff say, I don't want you playing in our tournament anymore. Please go away. Here's your certificate. Never come back. Never talk to us again. That's what being banned from Low Inc means. If somebody else were to stretch it to mean something else, that's on them being weird. Low Inc staff has never said something like that. And if we did, well, you didn't hear from me. Money! What's up, Money? Oh, wait, no, you're not Money. You're Rar. Rar is King Nips. Shout out to people who, if anyone in chat plays StarCraft, there's this, and there might be some people in here who actually played StarCraft or know what StarCraft is. There's the use map settings to where you don't play the way StarCraft was actually intended, but you can create games to do like whatever. There's a group that made a StarCraft version of NFL Blitz, like that old game on PlayStation and GameCube. And I've been a part of that, and it seems like a couple of them have started to figure out that I might do stuff outside of StarCraft, but fair enough. There were some highlighted messages going back up right here. Also, the Super Bowl of that thing is Saturday. Did I get the highlight? A lot of people said stuff, but I don't think they were talking to me because it wasn't highlighted. I'll go back and look at the chat later. Falco would have deleted something if it was cringe. With that being said, Low Inc officially has 3 teams that have signed up during this episode. So we're now at 133. That number's going to go down. There's teams that we've banned that we haven't removed from the thing yet. There's splash tag drops are going to happen later tonight, and there's going to be people that are going to not check in or whatever tomorrow morning. So that's going to be a thing. I don't think we're going to have enough team. We got 133 right now. I don't think we're going to have more than 128 when round 1 actually starts. So I think we should be fine for our double M format on Sunday. Which, I mean, we're talking about how difficult it is to win Low Inc. I think when we have to do the top 32 format. What are the the prelim predictions? I'm not even going to try to embarrass myself by pretending that I pay attention to anything related to that. That is what you're talking about, right? Europe soccer. Ooh, it's football, Popgun. Yeah, well. My football's way better than yours. Anyways, of this 133 teams, I have for you the top 10 of the 133, with my number 1 team being a guaranteed lock to win this tournament. I don't have any honorable mentions because, well, we've banned a lot of teams, as I alluded to earlier. So we're like bumping some teams up to fill this spot right here. This is going to be one of those, I don't know who these teams are, but somebody's going to do a fantastic job and win this tournament. We'll figure out who that is going to be. Kind of deal. But if that doesn't happen, let's start off right here. Number 10. The Whip Rays didn't have a good run through their Ludi season. But good news. This is Low Ink. They're not playing best of 9 weekly sets anymore. They're playing Swiss into a double elim, where 2 months ago, the Whip Rays made Alpha Bracket as the best 4-2 team in their Swiss group. Now, they weren't ready for the top dogs in Alpha Bracket that month, but most, if not all of those top teams are gone, opening the door for them to show us yet again who they really are this month. Expect the Whip Rays to take a bump up. Number 9. Get out of here with that octoplasm nonsense. Number 9. The Lost Inklings. This is the month, Lost Inklings. This is it. They got everyone right where they want them. They have been training up in the mountains, endured the gauntlet of Ludi Division 5, and are ready to take this tournament by storm. That's just my elaborate way of saying I've talked about the Lost Inklings a lot, and I don't have anything new to say about them, but they did beat the Whip Rays in Ludi, so ipso facto, if Whip Rays are number 10, Lost Inklings should be number 9 on this list. So there you go. Number 8. Sekiz Naga finds their way back onto the top 10 list for one of the oldest teams still remaining in Low Ink. I had them on here a few years ago, and they appear to have returned to Alpha Bracket form. They're fresh off of a trip to Division 5 playoffs where they pushed now-banned Caution to a Game 8. The window is open for them to make Alpha Bracket yet again, then make some noise as they used to do many years ago. The Lost Inklings. Wow, okay. You know they're going to be at Riptide, right? Or some of their players are. Number 7. Could you imagine going 4-1 in your Ludi group and still missing the playoffs? That is exactly what happened to Team Friendship, who did lose 5-0 to the team that beat them out in the awkward 3-way tie that they had in their group. But they followed that up by beating Lemon Cider 5-4, a team that is now banned from Low Ink. They have proven that the power of friendship is strong, but that friendship will be tested over the course of the weekend. Believe in the heart of the cards, Team Friendship, and you will make Alpha Bracket after all. Number 6. Hibiscus would have made Alpha Bracket in June, like they did back in April, if they played better in Swiss. They had to settle for taking 3rd place in Gamma. They would have made Div 5 playoffs, but due to tiebreakers, they had to settle for 4th place in their own group. No matter what would have happened, that's enough. It's not what they could do, but it's what they will do for this team that played in Low Tide City back in May. Time has come for Hibiscus to stake their claim as the next class of Alpha Bracket monsters. Also, the flower hibiscus can be used in teas to help decrease blood pressure, reduce blood fat, improve metabolic syndrome, and protect the liver, and fight cancer cells, according to a quick Google search. So there's that. The team Hibiscus is fighting cancer. How could you not root for them? Number 5. Players on this team used to be called Chroma Chaos, a team that made top 4 of a very competitive Div 6 playoffs. Now they have a new team name, one of which will match the same intensity that they had with the name Chaos that they used to have in their name. One that will continue to strike fear into the hearts of their opponents. They went from being known as Chroma Chaos to Be Happy. Okay, maybe they've mellowed out a little bit. Maybe they had their come to Zapfish moment, and peacefully find themselves in a state of mind to where they can calmly get into alpha bracket and maybe even make top 5 in that. Number 4. 789 is here, and they are good enough to be in the top 10. However, they signed up this morning, and I haven't looked too deeply into them yet. I just know they should be on here somewhere. Last time I made a lot of 789 jokes, but I don't have any more of those to say at this point. So 789 is number 4 on this list. How about that? Number 3. Div 6 is going to make a strong presence in Alpha Bracket this month. I think I've already said about 3 other Div 6 teams already in this top 10 list. Starting off and being led possibly by Celestial. Now, don't let their Div 6 standing fool you. They've made round 2 of the Div 6 playoffs, which was extremely competitive if you looked at that. But more importantly, they got 5th in Alpha Bracket back in June. This team is good in every tournament they play in, and having Alpha Bracket experience is a huge plus for them. The expectation for them should be to make podium this time around, and I only have 2 teams ranked above them so far, the ones that have signed up. Are you guys being weird in chat? You could be. Unfortunate. Number 2. Keon and myself commentated the Div 6 finals of Ludi tonight last week. And in that set, we saw a team called Goose Chase finish 2nd place, losing in a game 9 to a team that I'm convinced was making up their comps as the set was going along. But the real question is, how out of date are Ludi divs now that they've been out for over 2 months? I got a Div 6 runner-up, a team that didn't even win Div 6. I have them as the number 2 team in my top 10 low-rank team list. The answer is yes. Those things are completely out of date at this point, and that's going to be proven well. Here's the thing, though. If you play against Goose Chase, don't even consider running double Tetra L3H3 against them. It might seem like a good idea. It might seem like a really good comp, but Goose Chase knows how to beat that comp, and they will squash you if you do. Unless they have to play this team that I have at number 1. And the team that is going to win Low-Rank this month. I can't think of a grosser name that you could name a food item other than Black Squid Ink Burger. And the good news is their Black Squid Ink Burger is not planning on getting eaten at any point in this low ink if things work out the way that they're going to. They're going to do really well this month. They've made round 2 of the Div 5 playoffs and finished 5th in Alpha Bracket back in May. The stars have aligned for them to make that next step into winning this tournament. If they don't get it done this time, it might be the last time they get an opportunity to do so. The number 1 and eventual winner of this month's Low Ink, the Black Squid Ink Burgers. Now, if you are somebody who's like, well, you didn't put my team on the top 10 at all, or I did put you on the top 10 and you're not happy about where I put you, don't worry. This isn't like the Ludi Seeding Council. I always start off my Monday episodes of the Popcast giving apologies when warranted, Octoplasm, when warranted. So if you prove me wrong, I will apologize to you on Monday of the Popcast. With that being said, if you'd like to be a part of the podcast anyway, please feel free to reach out my socials below Twitter at Mr_Popgun, Blue Sky at Popgun, Discord at Popgun, YouTube at 25 Popgun, Twitch at Popgun25, Anchor.fm/Popgun. You kiddies are going to go watch Dapple Productions, whatever tournament they're doing right now. I'm assuming Triton Cup. Good luck this weekend. Get your splash tags entered. Don't do anything stupid. Set alarms and wake up early on Saturday. Enjoy the pre-show in the Discord server of IPL. See you then. Octoplasm was not warranted. Don't try that crap on me.